Okay, well, good morning. This is day 7 of the workbook of A Course in Miracles. And take a look at the lesson. It says, I see only the past. And it goes on to say that this is the rationale for every lesson that's come before this. So that's sort of interesting. But there's an idea that about down the page, Jesus says, old ideas about time are very difficult to change. Everything you believe is rooted in time and depends on your not learning these new ideas about it. Yet, that is precisely why you need new ideas about time. And when I was reading this, it harkened back for me to a gentleman named Christopher Columbus. Back in his day, everyone thought that the world was flat, and that if you sailed far enough, you were going to fall off the edge of the earth. So Christopher Columbus approached all the major monarchies of his day. I believe he approached the Italian monarchy, and he was Italian himself. He approached the French monarchy, and he approached the Spanish monarchy, possibly the Portuguese monarchy too, and asked them to provide him with what he needed so that he could sail west as far as he can go. Because in his mind, he thought there was a way to actually go all the way around. To get to the Far East, he thought he would be able to go west. So he set out in 3 ships to change people's ideas, old ideas about space. That the world was flat. He set out to show people that they were wrong. And this is much the same. This is much the same as what Columbus attempted to do. He tried to change old ideas about space. This lesson and lessons to come are designed to help you change your old ideas about time, to help us loosen our mind, loosen the way we're looking at things, the way we're experiencing things, the way our thoughts have been ordered, the way our lives seem to have been ordered, where we were born, and then we proceed and we die. These lessons are designed to help us come to a new perspective, a new understanding about time itself, to loosen the grip, that linear, the tense nature of our own verbiage, the way we discuss things in tenses, past tense, future tense. It's an interesting word. With time comes tension, so with the loosening of what time is in our mind, we begin to have less tension in our thoughts. And that's part of what this lesson is designed to bring about. There's another interesting thing that I want to bring up. And he says, look at a cup. Let's take a look at a cup for a second. You see a cup. Well, what is it you're really seeing? When you see the cup, are you just thinking, oh, I remember the last time I drank something from a cup, it was hot, blah, blah, blah. It's all based on the past. You're being thirsty, you drink from the cup, the feeling of the rim against your lips, having breakfast and so on. Are you really seeing the particular cup you're drinking from, or are you just experiencing it based on things that have gone on in the past in order to make the future or this moment exactly the same way as it has been in the past. And one of the things that Jesus goes on, and this is part of his teaching from way back 2,000 years ago, when he says, except ye become like little children, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. Now, in our new ideas about time, where perhaps we had an idea in the past where you had a beginning of your life and there was an end of your life, and then after the life was over here, you got to enter the kingdom of heaven. We're going to alter those ideas. We're going to change those ideas, and we're going to help you. These lessons will help you, will help us loosen our minds from the idea that what is eternal and infinite is not available to us right now. If it's eternal and infinite, then it's infinitely and eternally available to us. Yet it's our idea of time with beginning and endings which keeps us thinking that we have to wait for another time to come, another state of being to come, before we can really enter the kingdom of heaven. And what Jesus taught is, if ye become like little children, you can enter the kingdom of heaven. And in this reviewing the cup, if we removed all of our past learning, if we could let go of all of our past learning about what we think a cup is for, what we used cups for in the past, what was in the cups, what kind of cups we prefer, if we removed all those past learnings, we could just got rid of them, our mind would be empty except for the active understanding that comes from the light of God that we were created to be. And then, with all the past understanding removed, we would just be looking on everything with fresh eyes, not knowing what anything is for. Not in a negative sense, like, oh, poor me, I don't know what anything is for, but an open-minded way, much like a child views things. Oh, I don't know what anything is for, but here, this is my world. It must be for me to utilize for some reason. With that open-eyed, open-minded way of a child, wherein which everything is discovery. We're allowed to discover everything fresh, everything new. And with that mind, with that type of mind, unsealed due to past thinking, not yet solidified in old manners of thinking about time, with that new mind, bright, open mind of a child, wherein which the past isn't determining what's occurring now, spatially or temporally. Our minds are open and free enough from the tense nature of time itself. And with that mind of the open, wide-eyed mind of a child, anything's possible. It's possible we find the kingdom of heaven right here, right now, because there's no thoughts blocking the way of our realization of the truth of who we are. The fact that all things have been already given to us. And that's what these lessons, this lesson particularly, is designed to help bring about. The loosening of the tense nature of our thinking, where everything is rooted in time. There's a sequence, there's a past, there's a back, there's a forward. In that situation, with that mind, you can't see anything at all. You're just only seeing, reviewing everything that's happening now based on the past, and condemning yourself to a limited frame of reference where there doesn't seem to be any way out. This is offering you the way out. So, lesson, I see only the past. The idea is particularly difficult to believe at first, yet the rationale for all the preceding ones is the reason why nothing you see means anything, is the reason why you have given everything you see all the meaning it has for you. It is the reason you do not understand anything you see. It is the reason why your thoughts don't mean anything, and why they are like the things you see. The reason you're never upset for the reason that you think. It is the reason why you are upset, because you see something that's not there. You're just reviewing the past. You're not seeing anything it is now. There's no true perception, no direct knowing. And it's only through direct knowing, direct experience, seeing and being unfiltered, freed from the past, with no expectation for what is meant to occur in the future, where we unlock our minds from the chains of space and time, and we begin to be able to see with the eyes of a child, with the wonder, without the judgments. So we look about you, and this is equally true of whatever you look at. Acknowledge this by applying the idea for today and discriminate whatever catches your eye. For example, I see only the past in this pencil. I see only the past in this living room. I see only the past in the hand that I'm using to scroll down the page. But don't linger over any one thing in particular. Remember to omit nothing specifically. That's always the direction, to admit nothing specifically. And remember, he gives us those directions because he understands our temptation to omit certain things specifically is definitely going to be there, based on the hierarchy of the ordering of our mind, based on how we have ordered our mind, the hierarchy we have imposed upon our thinking due to a value system. And if the value system is based on anything in the world, then it is literally based on nothing. It is based on the past. So with these lessons, these first lessons, we're beginning to find our way out of that quagmire, out of the old world, where if you sailed far enough, you'd fall off the face of the earth, out of the old way of thinking about time, in which it's segmented and it proceeds in a particular direction. All of time is happening all the time. It's all right here in your mind. And as you free your mind from past thinking, you're liable to stumble upon memories of future or present conditions, because the future is just as past as the past. if we looked at this as being a sojourn, it's already had a beginning and it's already had an end, and the script is written. It's all happening right now. There's a series by which it seems to occur because of the linear nature of time. But because the separation occurred and was healed instantaneously, and we're merely reviewing what went on, we're reviewing the past now, looking at it with new eyes, so as to no longer have it be prohibitive from us achieving our true goal, which is the recognition of our reality and the integration of the truth of who we are into our everyday awareness. And this is one of those lessons that's going to help us loose that tension in our mind, so that we can be new in each moment and not look at everything based on what seems to have occurred in the past. So this is a good lesson for today. Old ideas about time are very difficult to change. Look what it took Columbus to change people's minds about the earth itself. Somebody had to do it. This has to happen to somebody. And if it could happen to anyone, it could happen to everyone. And because you're not different than anyone, you're not different than Jesus who made these discoveries. You're not different than Columbus who had the courage to go and do what he did. You just haven't had the training or given yourself the permission that you need. Let this be the day where you give yourself permission to enter into a new arrangement of time in your mind, a new way of thinking about time, a new way of experiencing time, one that no longer prevents you from experiencing the kingdom now, doesn't require you to wait until after you're dead for something to happen. You're not going to die. No one was ever born here in time, and no one ever died here in time. They're just parameters we put on our mind in order to keep us from seeing the truth of who we are. And with lessons like these, we're going to begin to loosen those parameters and expand our view, come into a new recognition and a new understanding of what life here is all about and who we really are in regards to that life. So that'll be today's lesson.